Hello, my amazing artists. Welcome back to Art with Mrs. Knowles. We are going to be creating an overlapping picture today. So overlapping is when things go on top of each other. Like if you think about a sandwich, when the pieces of the sandwich are on top of each other, right? Like a slice of bread, peanut butter, another slice of bread. Now overlapping, as you can see from my picture, the things don't have to be completely exactly on top of each other like a sandwich, but they can just be a little bit on top of each other. So what it does when we overlap things is it shows us that our element of space. So remember, space is like the space around us, right? The distance between two objects. So that's what overlapping does, is it gives us a sense of space. All right, are you ready to start? All right, so you can see my overlapping drawing a little bit closer now. And you can see, maybe you already saw, that I used some school supplies to help me overlap. So what I need you to do is to find 3 or 4 things that you could trace onto your paper. So that means that they need to be small enough to fit on your paper, right? You can see that I used tape. I used a little tape dispenser. I used a Sharpie, I used scissors. Oh, do you hear my puppy? Should we go say hi to him? Just a second. Okay, here's Oreo. He's here to say hi. Oreo, shake. Good boy. All right. Can you be quiet now and not interrupt us? Maybe, we'll see. All right, back to our project. So like I was saying, you need to find some things to trace, and you need a paper. I'm using a white piece of paper, but if you want to use a different color, that is absolutely fine. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use a pencil and start to trace my objects on the paper. You can see I'm tracing some scissors first. Oops. The tricky thing about the tracing is that you have to hold it down, right? Okay, so there's a pair of scissors. I'm just gonna do this. Oh, my Lanta, look at this dog. All right. Hopefully Oreo will not bark again. We will see. So remember that we're trying to overlap, right? That means that I am overlapping my scissors, putting them a little bit on top of each other. I'm gonna trace these a couple more times, and then I'm gonna trace my tape and my Sharpie, and I'm gonna come back to you once I've traced it. Okay, so I traced all my objects. I did my scissors 4 times, I did my tape 3 times, and I did my Sharpie 3 times. So just make sure you have enough objects on there. All right, so now, since I've done with my pencil, I'm gonna trace in Sharpie. Now, if you don't have a Sharpie, just use some kind of a dark color. You could use a black colored pencil, or you could use a black regular marker. It doesn't really matter, just use what you have. All right, I'm gonna do that. All right, so I traced all of my things with Sharpie, and you might notice that I don't actually have any details on this. All that you see is the outline, right? So that is what we're going for. You don't have to add the details of the tape dispenser. And if you look at the actual tape dispenser, there's a lot of details, right? So no details, just the outline that you traced. All right, now we're ready to color. So I used, on my example, I used markers, but you could use anything. You could use crayons, color pencils, whatever you want. Even paint. Paint would work too. You just got to be a little bit careful about the small spots, right? So I'm going to use some markers. You're going to need at least 4 colors. So choose 4 or 5 colors that you're going to use, put them to the side, and then start to color. So I will come back in just a second. All right, so I finished coloring this pair of scissors, and you might notice that wherever my lines are overlapping, I change the color. So make sure that you are changing your color and you don't just do the scissors all the same color, okay? All right, so I finished coloring in all of my overlapping objects, and I wanted to point out, because I didn't before, to make sure that you change your color in every new space. So I should never have pink touching another pink color. So you're trying to always have something else. And it was a little bit tricky, especially like in this part with all my little shapes, but I think I managed to do it. That's why you'll need at least 4 colors to do this project. Okay, I have a 5th color now that I'm gonna use to go around in my background and add some color there. So, all right, my amazing artists, I finished my background and I have colored the whole thing. You probably noticed that I took my time and I made sure that I colored neatly, which is part of learning how to be an artist, right? So here was my first example, different colors. All right, I hope you guys have fun. I hope you find it relaxing and I can't wait to see what you do. All right, bye-bye.